Hedera Hashgraph is a fully open-source, public distributed ledger that uses the fast, trustworthy, and secure Hashgraph consensus algorithm. The platform aims to provide a new way for achieving distributed consensus in a decentralized network. Distributed consensus is basically the process of agreeing on the order and validity of transactions among a group of trustless nodes or computers. This is essential for creating a shared ledger or database that can be used to power various applications and services. To learn more about the innovative technology behind Hedera Hashgraph, how it compares to other platforms, and its HBAR token, stay tuned until the end of this video. Hedera Hashgraph was founded in 2018 by Lehman Baird and Mance Harmon. The duo boasts decades of combined experience in the tech industry and numerous academic achievements. Baird and Harmon first formed the company Swirlds in 2015, which eventually went on to launch the Hedera network in September 2017. The Hedera network then rolled out the Hashgraph project. FYI, Swirled holds patents covering the Hashgraph algorithm. So, what is Hedera Hashgraph? Well, you might be familiar with the term blockchain, which is used to reference one of the most popular methods of achieving distributed consensus. Blockchain is a data structure that comprises a chain of blocks, each block containing a batch of transactions. The blocks are linked together by cryptographic hashes, which guarantee the integrity and immutability of the data they hold. Also, the nodes in the network use a consensus algorithm, such as a proof of work or proof of stake, to agree on which block to add to the next chain. Though it brings many benefits to the fore, blockchain has its limitations and challenges, such as low scalability, latency, and energy consumption. This is where Hedera Hashgraph comes in. Instead of finding ways to make improvements to the blockchain structure, Hedera Hashgraph decides to play a different game altogether and create its own system. This technology was designed based on a different structure and consensus algorithm than blockchain. While blockchain uses blocks and chains, Hedera Hashgraph uses events and graphs. So, what are events and graphs in this regard? Well, an event is a digital container that holds one or more transactions and some metadata, such as the timestamp and the signature of the node that created it. The event basically does the work of blocks in the blockchain system. Then, a graph is a collection of events that are connected by hashes, forming a directed acyclic graph, or DAG. For better understanding, think of DAG as a tree with multiple branches that grow in different directions, but never merge or loop back. The nodes in the Hedera Hashgraph network use a simple and effective gossip protocol to communicate with each other and share events. Here's how it works in simple terms. Each node randomly selects another network node and transfers all the information it has to it. Then, the recipient node does the same thing with another node, and so on, until that information is disseminated across the network. By using the gossip protocol, information is spread quickly and reliably throughout the network. Now, how do the nodes agree on which events are valid or important, and in what order? This is where the Hashgraph consensus algorithm comes into play. The Hashgraph consensus algorithm utilizes two techniques: gossip about gossip and virtual voting. The gossip about gossip technique suggests that every event contains not just transactions, but also information about other events that have been documented by a node. This creates a history or web of how events are related to each other through their parent hashes, resulting in a DAG called a hash graph. Next, the virtual voting technique suggests that each node can calculate or predict what other nodes would vote on in an event based on their knowledge of the hash graph. This practically eliminates the need for explicit voting messages or rounds, which dramatically saves bandwidth and time. As such, the Hashgraph consensus algorithm can achieve almost perfect efficiency in bandwidth usage, and as a result, can process hundreds of thousands of transactions per second in a single shard. For those unaware, a shard is a subset of nodes that operate independently from other shards, but can communicate with them if needed. Meanwhile, the Hashgraph consensus algorithm can provide low latency and finality for transactions. What this means is that they can be confirmed and settled within a few seconds with 99.9% certainty. Finally, Hedera Hashgraph provides three primary services: smart contracts, consensus, and token services. Also, Hedera Hashgraph provides a wide range of notable use cases that include payments, content authenticity, CBDC, audit logging, decentralized finance, decentralized identity, NFT, permissioned blockchain, and interoperability. Now, let's take a look at how Hedera Hashgraph compares to other platforms that offer similar services. As you would imagine, Hedera Hashgraph is not the only platform that wants to provide distributed consensus and network services for users. There are several other platforms with the same aim, but different approaches and trade-offs, such as Ethereum, Cardano, and Solana. The question now is, how does Hedera Hashgraph stack up against these platforms? One of the major advantages Hedera Hashgraph holds over the competition is its performance. Thanks to the Hashgraph consensus algorithm, Hedera Hashgraph can easily achieve high throughput, low latency, and high security for transactions. Hedera Hashgraph can process over 10,000 transactions per second with an average latency of 3 to 5 seconds and a finality of 10 seconds. For context, Ethereum can only handle about 30 transactions per second at an average latency of 13 seconds and a finality of several minutes or hours, while Cardano can process about 250 transactions per second with an average latency of 20 seconds and a finality of about 5 minutes. Next, Hedera Hashgraph boasts ultra-low fees. The network charges a flat fee of $0.0001 per transaction, regardless of the complexity or size of the transaction. This makes it very affordable and predictable for users and developers. In contrast, Ethereum charges varying fees based on the network congestion and gas prices, which can fluctuate sporadically depending on demand and supply. Finally, Hedera Hashgraph is a darling for environmental conservatives thanks to its sustainability. If you've been following the developments in the crypto and blockchain spaces, you know that environmentalists are very critical of many blockchain platforms because of their energy consumption levels and carbon footprints. Hedera Hashgraph is one of the most energy-efficient platforms on the market, as it does not require intensive computation or mining to secure the network. Hedera's website data shows that the network consumes about 0.001 kilowatt-hours per transaction, which is equivalent to about 0.00017 grams of carbon dioxide emissions. This gives Hedera Hashgraph carbon negative status, meaning that it offsets more carbon than it emits. Now, let's talk about a unique feature that further elevates Hedera Hashgraph from the crowd in its own regard: its governing council. The Hedera Governing Council is a decentralized group of 39 top global organizations from 11 industries across various regions of the world. This group is tasked with overseeing and guiding the development and growth of the network. Basically, the council members are responsible for maintaining the network's security, stability, and governance, as well as supporting ecosystem development. The council members also run nodes on the network and have equal voting rights on key decisions. The Governing Council was created to ensure that Hedera Hashgraph remains open, fair, and diverse. The group also helps Hedera avoid centralization or domination by any single entity or group. The council members are selected based on their reputation, industry expertise, and commitment to the network's visions and values. These members also have a limited term of 3 years, with a maximum of 2 consecutive terms, to ensure rotation and diversity over time. Some of the current council members include Boeing, DBS, Deutsche Telekom, Google, IBM, LG, LSE, and many others. The HBAR token is the native token of Hedera and has 2 main roles on the Hedera network. First, it's used to pay for network services such as sending transactions, running smart contracts, and storing files. As we've mentioned earlier, these fees are super low at a flat rate of 0.0001 per transaction, which makes Hedera ideal for micropayments and in-app purchases. Second, HBAR is used to protect the network from attacks by staking it to nodes that validate transactions. The more HBAR you stake, the more influence you have on the network consensus. This makes Hedera very secure and resistant to bad actors. Apart from these primary roles, HBAR also enables developers to create and manage their own tokens on the Hedera network. These tokens can be either fungible or non-fungible, meaning they can represent anything from currencies to collectibles. Interesting, right? All in all, Hedera Hashgraph appears poised to make a mark in the future of crypto and distributed ledger technology. Some of the leading factors fueling this projection include the increasing demand for fast, secure, and scalable decentralized applications, the growing ecosystem of tokens and dApps built on Hedera, the strong governance and vision of the Hedera Governing Council, and the ultra-low transaction fees and energy consumption of the Hedera network. That's all for today's video. If you found our video informative, then please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon to get updates on all our future videos.